Hello, Orville Nation. We have another great Power Women Wednesday. Let me introduce our co-hosts, Katie and Raquel, and
Hello.
our very, very special guest tonight, star actress Teresa Longo. Thank you,
Woo.
Teresa, for joining us. What a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Because we have a little bit of a choppy connection tonight. Um, I think we're all in bad weather places,
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
or some of us are anyway. And so, Teresa, what was your? I'm just going to ask. This is like a starter. What was your childhood like? Did you know you wanted to be in acting when you were a kid, or was it something you found out later in life?
Yeah, I always knew I would pass time with my brother making music and songs and pretending to be Batman and Robin and stuff. So I kind of always wanted to be an entertainer.
Did you now you are, if I'm, and correct me if I'm wrong, so you are Miss Italy North America, is that correct?
I was crowned, yeah, this was a long time ago, but I was crowned Miss Italy North America. And then I went to the world pageant in Italy. And it's where everybody from like 40 different countries goes and tries to beat Miss Italy. So it was back in 2011, so a long, long time ago.
That's awesome, though.
Thanks,
Wow.
honey. Thank you. It was fun.
Now, how does that, because I know you do modeling as well. What's more, what do you prefer to do? You prefer to do acting or modeling?
It depends, really. I mean, it really depends on what I'm doing, but I really like acting, yeah, because it allows you to be in a different character. And modeling, you don't always get to do that. You can be a character, but it's especially beauty pageants. They put you through your paces. You don't really realize it, but you're kind of on for these people for every 12 hours a day for every day for 3 weeks. Those can be really grueling, and you dedicate a lot of time. With acting, again, long hours, but it can switch it up.
And that must have been really good prep, just getting in the paces with the beauty pageants and making sure you got the makeup, you got the costume. It's probably translates pretty well.
Yeah, you have to do it every day. They get you ready, and then you have to do photos with sponsors, and you're here, you're there, there's no time for Facebook when you're in a beauty pageant.
Mhm. Now, let me share with the audience reasons. One of the reasons of Teresa, we asked, and it was an awesome shout out you gave us, by the way, Teresa. Was that we'd kind of discovered Teresa sci-fi films and look at who are rising stars in sci-fi.
Cool.
We was in a film called To No Man's Land, and you played a reporter in that film, right?
Yeah, I had a short little part. I was breaking some news about a very dramatic occurrence in a film. I won't ruin it because it's going to be on YouTube in about a month. But
Sweet.
It
yeah, I
is.
was just breaking some
Okay.
dramatic news.
Because I had heard some people had told me about the film, but it was hard to find. I haven't been able to watch it myself.
Cool. It's going to be on YouTube. I know they're even expanding it. It was just something that started as a project for a group of actor friends of mine in Toronto. And then it had such a great reception that they're going to do more episodes on YouTube.
Oh, that is going to be so cool.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, we'll make sure we keep in touch.
Oh, yeah.
And Teresa's also been in
Couple of
other
questions.
movies that are super cool, and they haven't just been on YouTube. I'm a fellow Canadian, so I kind of know that Teresa's a big star. And so, yeah, she actually was in an award-winning movie called Blur. And she was also in this crazy cool movie that's kind of like Spinal Tap called The Cocksure Lads. And she stars as this red nurse, and she comes out, she does this wicked / like guitar solo. So yeah, very cool. Anyway, we're all looking forward to seeing what's happening on with the YouTube movie, but your other stuff is really cool too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, those movies were fun to do. Anytime I can do guitar solo in a movie, sign me up.
And do you play guitar?
Yeah, I've played since I was about 8, so over 20 years. I saw one of your followers sent me a link to a cool song I should learn, and I was just really busy with the baby, but I'll try to upload maybe something to YouTube if I can soon.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You were with Alan Doyle in the Cocksure Lads. Did you get to jam with him? Did you get to jam with Russell Crowe? I know Alan Doyle and Russell Crowe are like, they're bros. You know what I mean? Like they really love each other. So did you get to jam with these guys?
Yeah, like they wanted me because they wrote all the music for the film. Alan Doyle and the guy from Moxie Fruvis.
Wow.
Gotta think of his name. I'm gonna look it up. But anyway, I got on the boardwalk and they said, okay, play us the riff, play us the song. So I had to show them that I could play it. So I jammed it out and they were like, oh yeah, cool. And so I felt like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm playing for these guys.
Yeah, it must have been super intimidating because, many Americans might not know this, but Alan Doyle is massive in Canada. Millions and millions of people love Great Big Sea. He's, really good friends with Russell Crowe. I mean, these are huge stars you're jamming with. And look at the way you were dressed. Like a pinup model with the crazy shoes and like you're the red nurse, right? So yeah, I thought it was really cool that you just grabbed the axe and you just, whipped that out. I thought it was great.
Thanks.
Very funny movie too. It's like Spinal Tap and I really enjoyed it. I thought you did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Now, with music and playing the guitar, are there any, is there a particular genre that you prefer over others, or what kind of music are you into playing and listening to?
Well, I love anything melodic, obviously. Things that I like are kind of like rock music. But then lately I've started to really like country music. And for the baby, I've been learning the Wiggles songs. So
yes!
We play a lot of Wiggles now.
Is fruit salad on there?
Yeah. What's that? Yeah.
Go ahead, Raquel. I know you have another because we only have Teresa for a short time.
Okay, I prepared some questions for you, so maybe I'll just give you some and you can just go for it. So you're a mom now, so you have already taken on the hardest role in your life, in anyone's life, and I'd like to congratulate you on getting your body back. Like you're a businesswoman, you have your bachelor's degree, you're an educated person who's doing promotion in one of the largest cities in Canada. So, I mean, you're more than beauty, you're also brains. So I have to ask you, what's your dream role? You're going to go forward as this actor. What's your dream role?
I'd say maybe to play a bad guy. I'd love to be the bad guy or the bad girl,
You want to be a villain.
Yeah, I want to be the villain. Yeah, next. I think that's what I have my sights set on next. I've done like the sexy, and I've done the comedy, and I really like comedy, but I haven't done any villain. So I think I really like that.
Yeah. Describe your best villain. What do you think you could bring to a villain role?
Yes.
Ooh, maybe some kind of street grit, something that would really be I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but maybe somebody who's really mean.
Yeah. So hear that,
Yeah.
Canadian movie producers, American movie producers. Teresa wants to be a villain. Okay, so here's some questions from my daughter. My daughter is 28 years old and she's actually an actress as well. And she wanted me to ask you, do you have any stage superstitions or routines?
It depends. I'd say I try to really focus on the moment. So if there's something else going on, I don't think about that. It's like when I walk on set, whatever my role is, that's what I'm thinking about only. I just really try to have tunnel vision when I go on set. It's not always easy because life happens, but the better tunnel vision you can have about your role, you're going to be right in that space you need to be.
Kind of. Oh, I didn't want to interrupt, but
oh no, go ahead.
Kind of riffing off of that. I mentioned it in a previous podcast. I'm trying to get into acting more, and I found it difficult to remember lines and just commit them to memory. I have a horrible memory. Do you have any tricks that help you remember your lines?
I do. So I used to have the same problem. And one of the best things I ever learned was to say the script into your phone as a recording, but say it with the beat, like, hi, my name is Teresa, and today is Wednesday. We're on the Orville podcast, and it's so fun. Okay, so if I think of it like a little, you never forget the lyrics to a song.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be like Hamilton, kind of.
So the more good writing has like a beat to it. Like there is beat to movies, to everything. So if you just say that, record all the parts in your phone, use voices, use a different voice for your character, and then you can listen and you can just get that memorization down a lot easier by hearing it, I find.
I'm going to definitely have to try that.
It's a good tip. Yeah, use your phone. Use your phone.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before, so I'm definitely going to use that.
Yeah.
That is an awesome dress you're rocking in that picture.
Thank you.
Yeah, what is this picture from, Teresa?
That's our Game of Thrones cosplay. We were kind of trying to be like Daenerys a little bit, and she's always looking kind of worried. And she was in this green dress once, so we tried to emulate her.
You have that look down. Like you could be looking at a dragon right there, and I would totally believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with cosplay, how many cosplays would you say you've done?
Not too many, only a few. I did like a Game of Thrones cosplay because a lot of people were saying to me, joking that I was like Daenerys, and I said, "Oh, we got to do those photos." And basically, if somebody says I kind of resemble people, then I'll take that and emulate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put up a few Teresa sent us about cosplay, and she can talk to us about it.
You guys can tell me if I nailed it or no.
Do you have a favorite cosplay that you've done?
Totally.
I love doing Daenerys. I thought that was good. And I didn't do it perfect. Like there were things about it I wished we had done a bit better, but I guess no excuses. I just got to move on and maybe find some more cool characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I found that I've been revisiting a lot of my old cosplays thinking, how can I improve this? So
you like to do cosplay?
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite?
Probably my favorite one is a full-size Lego man costume. I built it out of cardboard. Actually, I sent PJ a picture. It's on our messenger, but it's made to scale based off of the original Lego patent that they filed, and it's all corrugated cardboard. And I think I made it in 3 days. I basically watched the entire Back to the Future trilogy while making this. It's probably my favorite, but it's the worst to cosplay in because there's no ventilation. You're just in a cardboard suit and you're walking like a Lego. Like it's literally the Lego movie. You cannot bend anything. So you're kind of just chicken winging your arms. You're just like, hello, people.
You're talented. That's talent.
Oh,
So cute.
Now, I think you nailed this one. I'll let you talk about it. You can talk about it, Teresa.
Okay. Oh, you want me to
Oh wait, Teresa, let me just say that in the chat says you could be the next Bond girl or maybe the next Bond villain.
Ooh.
Thanks. Oh, I gotta turn on the live comments. Hello. Oh, thanks, Chief Cook. I see it now.
You could totally be a Bond villain. I could totally see that.
Thank you.
They just announced that Cillian Murphy might be the next James Bond. So could you imagine? She would fit perfectly with Cillian Murphy.
Oh my
I'd
gosh,
go
yes.
for it. I would go for that.
Yeah, that you're getting my vote for sure.
So this is a. I'll let you explain it.
Oh, the photo. Okay, yeah. So somebody had mentioned to me that I had a resemblance to Gwen Stefani.
Oh
And
yeah.
so we started to do some pictures one day of Gwen Stefani cosplay. But we took it one step further. We had like headphones, and I was pretending to sing and stuff. And
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. When you bring acting to cosplay, it just becomes to a whole new level.
yeah, it gives you something good to take pictures of.
Oh yeah.
I think they're gonna bring up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
shot.
Oh
you got it
heck
down.
yes.
That shows. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Thank you. Yeah, we kind of nailed her look. We had the jewels and the 90s looking hair and everything. Someone wanted to know how I juggle everything now that I'm a mom and working. And if I could answer it real quick, it's just because I make my own schedule. So I'm really lucky to do that. But right now I'm in the middle of the jungle, and my husband and I kind of take turns. But mostly, yeah, I make my own schedule. I decided I didn't want to travel back to Toronto until the winter was almost over.
Good call. Yeah, it's so cold.
But with my husband's help, it's really great.
So you're still in Costa Rica then?
Yeah, I'm like sweating through the shirt, and I hope you guys can't see me.
No.
Meghan Markle now.
And that explains everything because you're a surfer. Can I just go away from the cosplay just a little bit and ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. Who taught you how to surf? And please tell us your best surfing story, please.
Oh, that's awesome. You're sweet. I learned how to surf in Hawaii about 10 years ago, and then my husband's a pro surfer, so he's taught me a lot. And my best story is probably getting barreled or having what's called a shampoo, when the wave just kind of barrels you, but not quite.
Oh,
and you're like,
cool.
And that was in a beautiful beach called Playa Hermosa. Those are my best surfing stories.
How is the baby getting to Costa Rica? Like, I know your daughter is with you. So were there like immunizations? Were you a little bit worried about it? I mean, did she travel well? Is she like her mom?
She does travel well. Just 1 second though. I'm just gonna get my nanny to come here and sit with her because she woke up.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, whenever you have to go, just let us go,
Okay.
Teresa.
Hola, Noemi. Hola. ¿Puede venir y sentar con Sebinito un momentico? Estoy terminando mi entrevista. Bueno. Okay, you guys. I just can't leave her alone because she'll roll off the bed.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
This is great.
I need this Victor. She travels so good. It's just when she looks for a place to sleep, then it can get a little bit kind of cranky. She can get cranky, so it can get a little bit hairy when she wants to sleep. But she's really good. She travels so well. She's got more passport stamps than my mom.
Congratulations. I know you're very proud, and you know you're you might be a businesswoman, but you're also a sex symbol here. So for you to be able to just have a baby, then get out there and start surfing. And I mean, PJ's just put up these photos of you. I mean, look at you. You look fab.
Oh, thanks.
You look beautiful. And I love the red boots for Valentine's
Did you want
Day.
to?
Thank you.
Did you want to tell us about this?
Can you repeat that, PJ? You just cut out at the end.
Did you want to tell us about this picture that you sent us with the red boots?
Oh, we shot this in November, so it was a couple months back, but it was for the Toronto Sun. So if you're in Canada, you'll know that the Sun papers do the Sunshine Girl thing. I never say no to them because it's good publicity. Some people think Sunshine Girl is kind of corny, but I do it because I mean it's good publicity. So that's what those photos were.
Cool.
Yes, reality show in Costa Rica. Somebody said. Oh my god, need to go get the nanny.
So you're still in Costa Rica. Can I please ask you your ultimate Valentine's Day? Are you experiencing your ultimate Valentine's Day? It's coming. You're still going to be in Costa Rica for Valentine's Day. A lot of our viewers, I know, they look up to you either as a businesswoman or as an actor or as a sex symbol. So, I mean, tell us what your ultimate Valentine's Day is.
I think just spending it with my husband and the baby. Yeah. It's going to be our first Valentine's Day as a family.
Aww.
So honestly, as long as we're together, that's what matters to me. As cheesy as that sounds.
That is not cheesy.
So sweet.
Happy Valentine's Day. I wish you so much love. And look at this amazing picture PJ just put up of you. You look so soft, so relaxed, so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. That's in my hometown of Peterborough, Ontario. Oh, nice. And somebody asked if I ride horses. I've never gotten on a horse here.
Oh.
But people do a lot of horseback riding here.
Now, I have to ask, being a meteorologist, which weather do you prefer, Canadian or Costa Rican?
Oh, I love it in Costa Rica.
Yeah. I imagine more temperate during the winter.
I got to tell you, you're perfecto, Teresa.
Pardon?
Your Spanish is really good. Your Spanish is very good.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm fluent now, so I kind of have to be.
How many languages do you know?
Yeah, do you know Italian too?
I do, but it's not so great now. Now the Spanish has kind of overtaken my knowledge of Italian, and I can say like a few conversational things, but I'm really fluent in English and Spanish. French, of course, because us Canadians.
Yeah, we hear it.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. As someone who's tried to learn another language and utterly failed, I can say that is very impressive.
I know, it's all about just listening,
Theresa.
You know?
Yeah,
just like a song almost. I just listen so much. I never really studied it.
I know all the words to Gangnam Style, but that's about it.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I also know the Klingon version of it, so I know some Klingon.
I love it.
Teresa, I know you have to go, so what I'm going to do is anytime, you know, we're going to be streaming a lot. Anytime you want to come on and just talk to us, jump on a panel that we're doing, you just let us know, and you can come on whenever you want.
Thank you, and thanks for
more Canadians on the show. Teresa, come back. We need you.
I love you guys. You guys have been so fun to talk to.
Oh, you too.
I gotta ask you guys some questions too. That would be great.
So I know. So thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. And next time, whenever you want to spend any more time, you're always welcome.
Okay. Thank you guys for having me, and I hope you have a great afternoon.
Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Kiss the baby for us.
Okay, I will. And all the fans of the Orville too, happy Valentine.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Teresa. Bye. We're gonna stay on, and
I'm just going to flick the
okay,
light
there
on. I'll
she
be
goes.
right back.
I am losing daylight rapidly.
What's the?
Oh, what was that? You broke up.
Oh, I don't know what's going on tonight with our connection.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me do it. Stogie, hey Stogie, hey Jet, hey Chief Cook, hey, Adega, Jeff, hey guys. Oh, Adega's not in here. Ryan, hey. Thank you all for joining us. I was asking you how was Katie?
It broke off literally when you asked the question. I'm assuming you're asking what the weather is? There we go. Yeah, that's the question I always get, and I love it. No, it's we had a cold front come through, so we're having snow, and then the wind chill is going to be minus 40 degrees overnight when I head to work. So and that's in Fahrenheit, so it's 40 below, and it's not going to be fun. But you know what? For me, it is. But I can't let anyone know that I enjoy it
Wow.
because they will yell at me. How's the weather with you guys?
Just cold.
Yeah.
And you were
Canada is extremely cold in the winter and extremely hot in the summer.
Yeah.
So right now we had a snowstorm yesterday, and it was ridiculous, blowing snow everywhere. It was absolutely nuts.
Oh, I wish we would have that here. We have not had
Wow.
snow, and I'm going stir crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, it's been a pretty dull winter, mostly just brown, maybe like a little bit of that remnant snow. You know, when they like shovel the driveways and the roads, and it's just dirty, gravelly snow. That's all I have.
It's not very good for the trees either, is it? Because then the trees have to go this whole summer and the whole spring without any moisture. So not a good thing,
Yeah.
right?
It's gonna be an interesting cycle. Right now, we're stuck between two weather patterns, so we don't have anything happening, and it's just kind of waiting for a storm to actually show up.
So do you feel pressure as a meteorologist? Do you feel pressure to put positive spin on this for everyone?
I so much do. We had a 5-day stretch the other week where it was 5 days of clouds and fog. So it was just the utmost disgusting weather you can have with like spitting showers. And I'm just sitting here like, it's okay, guys, 4 more days till sunshine. And of course, I'm doing this all at 5 a.m. And I know no one else is as awake as I am. I'm just like, we're going to have fun, guys. As much fun as we can. But no, there definitely is a pressure because after a while, I get bored with the graphics that I use, and I figure if I'm bored, the viewers are going to be getting bored. How can I mix this up? So it's a challenge.
Well, hopefully they're very slow moving that early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some of the people, because we have live cameras across the area that we cover, and a lot of the people are up and walking and jogging and running red lights recently, and we catch them on air, and that's not so good. But
oh wow, did that actually happen?
Yeah, actually, it was one of the mornings. It was a couple months ago. A person just blew through a stop sign, and I stopped on air. I was like, "Also, that's a stop sign, just so you know." And
Did you get the plate number?
Sadly, no. They were driving in the opposite direction. So, yeah, but no, there's some fun stuff that you can do when the weather's boring, including calling out people for running red lights.
It's kind of cool that you sent us some pictures, and can we talk about those?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's one that I love. I love the Doctor Who one is.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Great. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Oh, thanks. I've been getting super into Doctor Who. I just started Matt Smith's first season, and I finished up the one with Van Gogh, or Van Gogh. I don't know which one's the correct pronunciation. I've heard it both ways. But yeah, I've been getting super into it to the point where I have a little mini TARDIS that I got from the store. It actually, lights up and stuff. And I thought, oh, that's cool. Why not make it bigger? And so I'm making my own TARDIS jewelry box for work so I can just have it on my desk And so I went out and I
Wow.
just made a box from scrap wood. So I'm like I said, I'm extremely bored. There's no weather. I don't have anything to do. So yeah, I'm crafting and cosplaying and stuff.
Maybe you're not bored. Maybe you were just born a maker.
I think I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited
I agree, Raquel.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited because I'm going to C2E2 in Chicago. If any of you guys who are watching are going, like, let me know on Twitter. I will stop by and say hi. But Adam Savage from Mythbusters is going to be there. And he is a huge maker in the maker community. He is just incredible. And I'm going to go and I'm going to show him some of these pictures, especially in my Lego costume, and just tell him how much of an influence he's had on me being a maker, because I learned all these different things. Like, you can make fake chainmail from foam, and like you can do all these sort of like special scientific things to make really easy cosplays, which is what I'm into, is making effective cosplays that are relatively easy and cheap. And he does a great job at it. And I'm really looking forward to telling him how much I like love his work. Ah, yes, the Lego Man.
This is fabulous.
Gosh.
So I'm actually in that. Everything is accurate except for the hands. My hands kind of broke, so I had to patchwork them. And the stickers just for the
This
the
is
costume
amazing,
contest.
Katie. This is
Oh, thank you.
amazing.
It's
It's-
amazing. Let me just stop for 1 sec. I'm sorry, Kate. I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt you. I just want to introduce our friend Philip O'Reilly, actor Philip O'Reilly, Katie and Raquel.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Philip.
How you guys doing? And gals, excuse me.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing good. Getting colder. I should probably turn on my heat.
Yeah,
Wow.
this costume is incredible.
And, this is amazing. This is
Like-
amazing.
I can't even imagine you walking in the con without like an entourage.
Well, it's
You know what I
funny.
mean? Like just people just randomly assembling to like escort you in.
Well,
I
it's
agree.
great because one of the great things that I do with my cosplays, I do it with my dad, and it's the real thing that we love to do. And he's my handler because in this costume, I can't turn my head. I have a very limited field because I'm seeing out of the mouth, and that's all I can see out of. So it's this curved, angled look, and I'm trying to peep around. It's kind of like Geordi in Star Trek, where he's trying to look through his visor, and my dad has to tell me, kid coming up, or there's a kid right here, or turn in this way, and he helps me with the figuring out where I am, because there are people who come up and I just don't even know they're there.
So when you wear this costume, does your dad dress in a body cast, or like does he have a big cast on his leg? Because everyone knows that like dads loathe Lego because they step on it and it feels like they're being killed. So
It's great because I actually, for Christmas this year, I got him an official shirt that hopefully he'll bring to C2E2, and it says Cosplay Dad, and on the back it has pictures and the names of all the cosplays he's helped me with.
wow.
And so it has the running list, and Lego Man's on there. But yeah, no, he definitely, there's some cosplays that I'm planning in the future that he will definitely be a part of.
Oh wow. Well, that's a beautiful story. One time you have to get your dad to be your minion or something on air when you do the weather. Do you know what I mean? You
Oh
can
my
get your
gosh.
dad to be like a storm front or something.
Well, it's great because with my family, they're so incredibly supportive of all my crazy storm chasing and forecasting and stuff like that, and they don't want to be on camera. So I might try and drag them in front of the screen a couple times.
Yeah, well, my kudos. I think that this costume is just, this is aces. This is, world class. I just absolutely love it. I think it's terrific.
Oh, well, thank you.
It is
And
amazing.
the crazy thing is anyone can do it. It's just cardboard. You can go and buy a bunch of cardboard boxes, and if you know basic conversion skills from centimeters to inches, and you know your height, you can make this costume. It's so
Get you lit up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the big thing with this one is it disassembles exactly like a Lego Man because it's based off of the patent. So you can take off the hands, you can take off each of the shoulders and the arms, pop off the head, the white torso, that pops off too. So it's actually a functioning Lego Man.
So
Wow.
none of those arms are yours, right?
Right. Yeah, no, actually, because I can't, angle it in. I have like almost like a cardboard circle built in so that it pops into place into the hull of the body. And I stick my hands in the circles. And so I'm like this with my shoulders pulled all the way back. And when I wave, I have to like chicken wing it like that. It's an extremely uncomfortable costume, but the smiles that it gets, like you can see it, the kids absolutely love it. And it's so much fun when I see kids at Comic-Cons, because to them, you are their character. You are the character. You aren't just a person in a mask. And they really get excited.
I got to tell you, the viewers in the room just went up with this Lego figure in the background.
Really?
Phil, I got to warn you that these ladies are crazy cosplayers. They're like diehard. Better than actors and actresses.
Aw.
Well,
No.
with acting, you dress up all the time, so it's the same thing. Except you do it for fun on your time off. Yeah, I've dressed up at Comic-Con myself.
Ooh, what have you cosplayed?
A character from Napoleon Dynamite, Rex from Rex Kwando. I've dressed as him.
Nice.
Send us a picture on Twitter. I'll put it up.
Yeah.
Send us a picture, Philip.
Sure, and dressed as Hulk Hogan and a couple other characters.
So cool.
So did you distribute tots?
Oh yeah. If I was Napoleon Dynamite, I would.
No, I just associate tots with that whole movie. You know what I mean? When they get smashed in his leg, and, just love it.
Yeah, dude, this is like for all of you guys. Do you have if you had one cosplay, the ultimate cosplay, any budget, anything you could get, what cosplay would you want to pull off?
Huh.
That's a great question. Is that for the chat or for the
Anyone? Anyone,
Okay.
everyone.
I haven't thought about that.
It's a very difficult one to pin down. But I definitely have one because I'm trying to make it right now. I'm trying to be the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who, and it's extraordinarily hard to find a suit.
Yeah, and you were talking about your wig. Let's talk about
yeah.
wigonomics.
Yeah, wigs are surprisingly difficult for me. Yeah, they get knotted up so easily, and trying to style them is difficult for me.
Is it a cheap wig? An expensive wig?
It's pretty cheap. I don't trust myself to style and stuff. Oh, there. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's
great.
it's a Della Duck from the new DuckTales. For those of you who haven't watched it, go watch it. Oh my gosh. But she's awesome. She's the best character. But I saw a TARDIS, and this was the day that I got to meet David Tennant and Catherine Tate. And I told them, I haven't seen Doctor Who. You're going to be my first, and had conversations with them about Doctor Who. And so that was my first step into the TARDIS.
Wow, this looks great.
And now I'm hoping to actually build one that size when I get my own house and can actually do that.
Yeah.
Vinny says he wants to be Optimus Prime or Guts from Berserk.
Ooh, nice. Riff Raff from Rocky Horror. Yes. That this is a total side tangent, but I get up pretty early, like 2 a.m. to go to work, and I have to find songs to wake me up. And recently in my suggested playlist was the entire score to Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that's what I listened to this morning before my show. So if you ever want to know what the effects of Rocky Horror Picture Show are at like 4 a.m, it's positive.
Wow.
Oh gosh, it's so great.
I guess
you could
you
do a
live
lot
alone, don't you?
Very much so, yes. My cat does not protest.
Sci-Fi says Batman.
Oh, yes. Ooh, yeah, you could do a lot of different variants with Batman too.
Mm-hmm.
Master Chief says Chief Cook.
Nice. I'm loving these cosplay ideas. You guys should totally do it. You've seen it over 200 times. Are you talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show? Because in that case, bravo. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Yeah, the Time Warp is a very great song. I should do a Rocky Horror Picture Show cosplay. If I have enough friends that I could put together the whole gang. We could do a Rocky Horror cosplay just with this panel. Doodle Bob! I have a great story behind that one, because that was at C2E2 last year. I could not get past the front gate. I was mobbed with people. And the only way I can see is that little hole. It's the second one down on his forehead, which is screen accurate, by the way. I kept it all to scale. And that's all I could see. So I had my one eye pressed up on it. So that one was probably the worst visually. But yeah, I had so many people coming up, and I'll tell you what, that pencil was heavy, and little kids were struggling, but they would manage to like lift it up and try and erase me. It's so much fun, and that's what I really like about that cosplay is you can act as the character, and that's I think why I'm trying to get into acting more is because I enjoyed so much in cosplay.
I could see it.
And also, for those of you who think, oh, that's an incredible costume, how did you make it? It's a Cheerios box for the pencil. Literally, it's a family-sized jumbo Cheerio box rolled inside out and turned, and that's all you have to do.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's super easy.
Wow. Oh, we got to do just a Raquel and Katie secrets for cosplay.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is great. The only thing I think I would be turned off about doing cosplay that attracts kids is the touching rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like adults are usually too shy to come over and try and touch my antennae or to try and touch me because, you know, in Canada, the cosplay laws, the laws of the con are explicit. You go to the con and you agree that no touch is a good touch unless it's an invited touch. Whereas I could definitely see, you know, you see the mascots at hockey games and stuff like that, and the kids just maul them.
Yep.
So, how is your experience with that, protecting your work?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with me is I just kind of jump into it. Since my cosplays are so inexpensive, I don't worry too much about it breaking because, I mean, that's just foam poster board from Hobby Lobby. But when it comes to the more things, like with the Lego Man, I've had little kids come and try and rip my arm off. And I think the way I handle it is, one, I have my dad who helps a lot, who's like, oh, no, let's not do that. Or the parents are really good because they're the cosplayers at the cons. They know, okay, this is not proper etiquette, and they kind of pull their kids aside. And I've had really good experience with parents just being like, hold on, you can't do that, and just explaining it to them calmly, and they respect that. So I think I had a few fingerprints on that, but a little bit of white paint covered it up pretty well.
But no harm, no foul.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, if they broke the pencil, it's a piece of ductwork, a foam thing painted pink, and Cheerios boxes.
Yeah. Well, terrific job, Katie. This is gorgeous.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got to run around and scream ahoy manyoy at people's faces, and it was the best day ever. But you've done so many cosplays too, and acting with you, Phil.
I was just gonna.
I was looking for the picture of me as Rex. I finally sent you a message.
Oh, you did, Philip. I'm gonna put you on the spot of something here. When my actor friend cuts his hair that short, does that mean he got a big role on something he can't talk about?
Ooh.
I can't say. Maybe not a big role, but a background role that I had last week.
No way.
You.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations, Philip.
Thank you. Normally I don't like my hair this short, but it served a purpose, and I don't mind having long hair or short hair. I'm not really stuck with a certain look, so I like changing my look.
When your project is done, can you come back and share with Orville Nation?
Sure. Probably won't air till the fall.
Nice.
What was the last one you were on? Can you tell us when you were going like this?
I can't say. Yeah.
No, I mean the deputy one.
Oh, that one. Okay. I played a police officer on Deputy. Was it episode a week ago?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I played an officer at Venice Beach, and that was a lot of fun. I got to chase after a criminal and help arrest a criminal. That's pretty cool. And
that was a cool picture you showed us.
Yeah, and I had like no experience. Like I've actually never fired a gun ever. So I had like on set they were telling me like, all right, this is how you hold it and stuff. Like, okay.
I will take your word for it.
Kind of intimidating, hey? You want to get it right.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been acting?
It's kind of complicated, but I've been doing like background acting for about 5 years or so,
Nice.
and I've done acting like for a longer period than that. I was in an improv group in college and outside of college as well, and I've done lots of independent and web series stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
So so Katie, you said you did acting as well?
Well, kind of. I'm trying to get into it. Back when I was in high school and they had the whole theater department, I was really, really shy. And as you can clearly see, I am no longer that. But yeah, I've been an extra on the Chicago show, Chicago PD, Med, Justice, and Fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, that was so much fun. I got to play a yellow tag, which meant I was dying but slower than other people. That was fun. Which I was indeed slowly dying that day because I had an exam coming up and I skipped school to go do that. But I want to get more into acting. But I asked this question earlier. I'm finding it difficult to memorize lines. I've had a hilarious series of accidents that have caused me to have concussions, and I can't remember things like I used to. Do you have any tips on remembering lines and how to remember like where to go and your points and on screen?
I'm actually not the best at memorizing lines, but I would just say repetition and maybe association with other things.
Okay.
Like you associate this name with this object and so to help you remember things.
Okay, I'm gonna have
just
to try
repetition
that
and association is what I do.
Nice, yeah, and I've gotten my hands on a few old Star Trek scripts, and I've just been going through and reading those. That's fantastic, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Is that the yeah? I think it says the Rex stuff on the back of the shirt. Or
I love that.
I don't know. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
I have
Now,
I have pictures at Comic-Con, but this is just taking this in my room. Like I didn't have I was just trying to take pictures for it to submit to projects.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Sadly, I grew up in a time where guys actually wore this to school.
Oh,
I was just thinking that.
oh yeah.
Sadly.
No, I would not dress up like this normally. No, it's not my
No,
thing.
no, I know.
Walk down the street.
I know, but in my generation, when you got on the bus, this is what the entire back of the bus looked like.
Oh yeah.
Right? Except for they had the mullet.
Oh gosh. That came back my senior year of high school, and that was only a few years ago. So it's back.
Yeah, crazy.
That is the go-to look. That could probably be memeable if that got into the right hands on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had a significant amount of enemies right now, boy, I mean, you just opened up a can of meme me.
Well, I have tons of pictures dressed as weird things, so
Yeah.
I think people understand
yeah.
I'm just an actor and dressing up as different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you share some more stuff with us?
Sure.
He's done a lot. Yeah, you can share. He's done a lot.
I've worked on over 100 different shows and
Oh my
films.
gosh.
So I've dressed up as like an orc on Bright, the movie on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't have that outfit, obviously, but
No.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
That's the one you walk around the streets in.
Yeah.
You're
Like,
just really humble, so like and really soft spoken. So I want to see your jams. I got to see some photos here so we can talk about it, because it seems like you've had a really extensive and interesting career.
Let's see. How would I show you guys? Let's see.
Philip, I'm gonna go to your IMDb and I'll load the pictures.
Sure. Or my website. Also,
your website. That's right. The website
has more
yeah.
pictures on it on my site on my production stills. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
actually, he's done a lot in like a really short period of time. To be honest, right, Phil? You haven't been doing it that long, right?
Well, like I said, around 5 years, and I work sometimes 5 days a week, and each day usually is a different production. So
And I assume you live in or near Los Angeles?
near, I live in San Diego, and I sometimes stay up in LA.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. Like I said, I want to try acting, but there aren't that many opportunities in Sioux City, Iowa.
No, probably not.
You could come here. There's plenty of opportunity here in Vancouver. Vancouver, isn't that where Netflix is?
Oh.
Just outside of Vancouver?
Well, I know they're filming Star Trek Discovery's in Canada, where they're filming.
Yeah.
They film everything here. A lot. Well, not everything, but you guys know what I mean. I mean, Netflix is really busy here. So, I mean, maybe you need to come to Canada and we'll hang out, Katie.
That would be awesome.
I'll
tell you
try
what,
to get to
I could
Vancouver.
still forecast.
Yeah. Road
Yeah.
trip. Let's go to Vancouver.
Oh my gosh. If I get the time, yes.
Okay.
So when you're acting, Philip, do you mentioned that you have costumes. Have you done any extensive prosthetics? And if so, what's that process like?
I don't own my own prosthetics, but I've worn different ones on sets. Like for example, when I did the orc outfit on Bright, it was part mask, part prosthetics. They had like me put something on my nose and like around my mouth, and then over that was the mask and makeup to like blend it all in. And several shows like the medical drama I worked on several times, Code Black.
Oh, no way.
I've worked on that like every other episode. I worked on that.
That's so awesome.
And I played like patients where I had different scars all over my body, and I had to sit in a chair to get that put on. I had to wait like an hour, maybe 2 hours sometimes to get that put on.
How itchy were you?
Well, I kind of just
like
get used
super
to it.
itchy.
Yeah, it's not comfortable sometimes,
No.
like, especially if you're like sweaty or different things going on. But
When it's humid, they can be pretty itchy.
yeah, you just gotta deal with it sometimes. And
Yeah.
prevent from scratching.
So this is from the Veep, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
This is the last season that aired, season 7, I believe.
Looks very official.
Episode 1 of season 7. Yeah, I played a news reporter, and it was pretty funny. It was like a political scene. Actually, the whole show is political. And there was a guy like at the fire truck, like that was running for president. That was like really tall and gangly, and we were interviewing him, and he's like a dumpster fire, like saying all these like stupid things, and that's why we have these weird faces on our expressions because we're like, what the hell is he saying?
What's wrong with this guy?
That's your expression. The woman to your right is just like, why am I here? Like, I'm feeling horror for you.
I like the guy in the back who's hysterically laughing.
Yeah.
Or looks like he's about to start hysterically laughing.
The next picture I'm going to show, I swear to God, I don't even see Val Kilmer anymore in this picture, Philip. I just see you, man. Hold on one sec. I don't even see Val.
I have heard I look like him. I'm surprised you said that. Okay.
Let's see.
When a bunch of people say that to you, it really freaks you out, doesn't it? Because especially when they don't know one another. Val Kilmer, I'm telling you, Philip.
And I'm the firefighter back there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're the guy in the
That is so
background.
cool. That is so cool.
This is actually filmed on a ship in San Diego on a Navy ship that was active. I forgot the name of it. And they like had like guns blasting off, and we had to wear earplugs, and it was pretty action-packed scene.
That is so awesome. That is, oh my gosh, I'm so envious. That is so cool that you get to do this.
Yeah, and that was a really heavy outfit. It was like legit like firefighter outfit, and I had to put I believe I had to put the tank on as well, and we had to go like running and put out a fire.
Even the pants are heavy.
Yeah.
And of course, being on location, that must have been a scorcher, it looks like.
I think it was a little bit warm, well, especially in that outfit. Like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was a popular show, but the actors on that didn't want to do it anymore. Or at least one of the actors, I think him, didn't want to do the show anymore, or maybe the other actor. And so they just ended the show. Like, I thought it was pretty good.
Now, when you're on set, I know my experience, you aren't really allowed to interact with some of the stars, but have you had any interactions with actors who work on the show, other actors?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the general rule is you're not supposed to talk to the actors unless they talk to you.
Mhm.
So you don't basically interrupt them and cause them to like forget their lines, or you're asking them for autographs. So
Yeah.
but basically, they don't want you talking to them unless it's necessary or they feel like talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Philip, I can't find the Jean-Luc Picard picture. Do you have that on your phone?
Ooh. Always looking for good Star Trek cosplay.
I really would like to cosplay Star Trek as a Star Trek character, but I haven't yet. No.
Now, he was in a prison show, and Patrick Stewart was in it.
Oh wow!
No way.
Yeah, it was Blunt Talk
blow it up
season
so
2. Let me find the picture.
I'll blow up your screen so you can show us, because I don't see that in your thing in your page.
Let's see.
Ooh, and you have both seasons of The Orville on your shelf. I like that.
Oh, yep. I got both, and I got my Hulu subscription. I'm good to go.
Represent.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day they announce when it comes back.
He was on the Orville one time, Katie.
Shut up.
Oh, wow.
What?
Remember the episode where you were up and down voting people? It was called Majority Rules.
Oh, that's.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go and watch that again.
Dude, that's like my dream. Holy cool. That's awesome.
And I can't confirm or deny, but I might have been on again on an episode that hasn't aired yet.
Ooh, juicy! That's juicy news.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Oh, man. You have no idea how tempted I am to just jump on a plane and abandon all my responsibilities right now to go and see. If I could just be in, maybe even a little shot, maybe an ear in the shot. That would be worth it.
Trying to find that picture. Sorry.
So I'm going to post another one while you get that one up. I'm going to post another one. And later we're going to show you, now that we're all showing pictures, we'll show you a picture of Raquel she showed us last week if she wants to.
Yes.
Because that was amazing.
The cosplay is incredible.
Oh,
That
you
was
guys
the
are
most
so nice.
impressive Star Trek cosplay I've ever seen, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
You
for
guys
sure.
are so kind. You guys are the sweetest people.
I love how positive these chats have been. Like, everyone's just so kind. It's so great. Oh, that's the theme when you cosplay. I don't think I've ever had a bad comment with cosplay. Have any of you experienced anything negative?
No, I completely agree with you. I feel like whenever it happens, it's just a sense of community.
Put it up.
No way.
Oh,
There you go, right there.
No
Yeah.
way!
So
You and
yeah, this is
Patrick
episode
Stewart.
8, season 2 of Blunt Talk,
Oh my gosh.
and me talking to Patrick Stewart and asking him questions, and he showed me stuff on his phone about Star Trek Next Generation scripts that he was selling. Yeah.
Wow.
That is so cool. Oh, I fangirled just looking at a picture. That's
did you fangirl, Philip? Did you have a little bit of the butterflies?
Yes. I was prepared to get fired that day. I was like, "That's it. I'm talking to Patrick Stewart."
nice.
So what did you do to get rid of the fear and swallow it and just approach him like he was a normal human?
Well, I worked with him the whole day that day, so I was kind of nervous the whole time there. I've worked with actors all the time, so I'm used to not caring if I'm next to some famous actor, but like this is Patrick Stewart, so
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a whole different class.
So you've talked to Seth MacFarlane too before, I think, right? When you were.
I've met him. I did not talk to him.
Oh, okay.
That's still awesome, dude. I'm hoping that eventually when things calm down, Seth does more Comic-Cons and maybe goes to C2E2. Although I'd probably pass out before I could get there. He is literally, I think the reason so many people love the Orville is because they're Star Trek fans who are watching a Star Trek fan make his own Star Trek and make it so awesome.
That's true.
That's my thought. I see that and I'm like, any of us could do that. But Seth is living it and he's doing it so freaking well.
That's true. He has so much respect for the franchise.
Oh my gosh.
You just see it in everything he's doing on the show.
Okay. This is a picture he's showing. It's a short film I did called Counterfact. I think it's available on YouTube.
You look pretty darn handsome here. I'm not going to lie, Philip.
Really?
You look like you're kicking someone out of the club and they don't want to leave. And you're just like, I will mess you up, man. You got 1 second left.
Lady Magnet, I think you're looking really cute. Love the suit. You clean up well, as they say. Cliche.
Thank you.
You definitely have that different hairstyle going on.
Yeah, you look different in a lot of the shots. You really do.
Yeah, I would say when I'm clean shaven, I play more of the upscale or nerdier type roles. And then when I got the beard going on, I play more of the tough guy, criminal type.
Nice.
So it just all depends on the look.
Now, based on the looks, what kind of character, nerdy, geeky, techie, would you say each of us would play? Since you have so much experience, what kind of characters would you typecast us as?
Casting director. You put on the hat of the casting director right now, Philip.
Well, I don't know your personalities that well from just our interaction right now, but I would say, you look pretty young, Katie. Maybe like the teenager.
I'm good with that. Keep that young look going.
Take that. Keep that for yourself.
I will be carded for as long as I live.
So, yeah, I would say high school drama, TV show or flick. Could probably do that. I don't know if you would play the bad guy or good guy or gal.
If you ask the people I work with, I would be the evil scientist on a show. Oh, and there's Radar. He's saying hi real quick.
Hey, Radar.
I'm such a cliche. Yes, well,
Katie.
actually, his full name is Corporal Radar O'Reilly, and I only use that
O'Reilly.
when he's bad. But yeah, no, I'm being a meteorologist. He's Radar, and then I also happen to love MASH. So it's a two-way street there.
Nice.
Jet Screamer asks in the chat, Katie, are you planning on watching Picard tonight when it drops?
Well, here's the great thing about my schedule is I usually get up between 1 or 2 a.m. So I can just get up a little earlier and watch Picard. And it's worked out pretty well because I get to see it before all my friends and the spoilers come out. So I'm planning on probably getting up a little early, which, good heavens, it's 6 o'clock. It's fine. I'll just run on sugar tomorrow.
Are you guys enjoying Picard?
I am for different reasons than most people would think. I think a lot of times people get caught up on continuity or the details or I don't like the story or this and that. But for me, I'm just enjoying the ride because I was born in 1996, so I am definitely a baby. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But so when I got into Star Trek, there was no Star Trek on television. And so this is really my golden age of Star Trek, having Discovery and having Picard and the potential for the new shows that are coming out. I'm entering an era where Star Trek's actually on television and it's a relevant conversation piece that a lot of people know about. And so I'm just watching this show sitting here I'm watching Star Trek as it happens. It's not on Netflix. I can't binge the next episode, which is frustrating, but still I'm just having a blast writing it.
What about you, Raquel?
I don't watch Picard.
Oh, okay.
Oh, have you seen Discovery?
I watched the first season of Discovery.
Oh, you got to check out the second season.
And I found it a little too dystopian for my taste.
Oh, you got to check out the second season.
My daughter is actually older than you. So I grew up in the 70s and the early 80s, and I was already an adult when TNG came out. So for me, I'm pretty used to this utopian beautiful idea of friendship and camaraderie and all the positivity that comes from TOS. So it even took me a while to get used to TNG.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, to
if
each their
you
own.
if you like the
I'm not
positivity,
Orville.
yeah, there you go. Well, if you like the positivity, check out season 2 because Captain Pike, 1, is gorgeous, and 2, just his personality is more reminiscent of TOS and TNG and the explorer spirit. But yeah, now that I think about it, the Orville is a perfect mix of dystopian and idealistic because it takes that wonderful euphoria of Star Trek being a perfect world and it actually throws in battles and stuff without being too dystopian. It's the perfect flavor of both, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the great thing about our community is we have a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
And they're diverse. Like nobody, you don't have to agree, but you also don't have to vehemently disagree. I think that it's important that everybody, respect one another's feelings.
Oh, yeah.
And what I think is really great is that Robert Mayer Burnett just posted an article that was talking about the demographics and the psychographics of each part of the franchise, and about how Generation Z is seeing Discovery and Picard in a completely different way than generations before, right? Even millennials. So there's even a marked difference between millennials and Gen Z. So yeah, lots of diversity out there, lots of different ideas about it.
I'm telling you, some of these pictures, you look like you could knock some heads. Like you could just,
Looks
totally
pretty
cold.
badass.
I think you look handsome again. I really do. I think you look really good here as a DEA agent. I think it's really awesome. I think you look good.
What
Thank
show
you.
is this, Philip?
This was LA's Finest. It's a show on, is it Spectrum or one of those specialty cable or satellite services?
So is that your prisoner in the background? Because he seems to be.
They're police officers. That's one of the stars in the show.
Okay.
Also, Jessica Alba's on the show and a couple
Ooh,
other
nice.
actors. Like I think, could be wrong, but I think Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters is also on the show.
Oh.
And it was cool. Like they filmed this in Santa Clarita, a little north of LA. And it was pretty cool. I got to talk to the actors. Like we were like enclosed in like a fake elevator all together. There was a good shot right before this where all like they're talking about us while we're in front of them, and we just have to stand there and take it. So I'm actually in that for a good few minutes, actually.
That's so cool.
Well, it's a good thing it's a fake elevator. Otherwise, that would have been really hot. Having all of you sardined in there.
And I have another picture of you on a different episode of Veep in a different role here.
Yeah, I've worked on the show several times.
In universe, you have a twin, and that's how it works canonically.
It's always weird. Like you'll see me as a different character in the next episode. Like what? Like if somebody's an excessive fan of a show, they'll see all these like errors. Like, hey, like I thought this guy was playing this. What's going on?
But you look different though. You really do look different.
You're rocking the beard again. So does this mean you were a villain again?
Yeah, I was a lawyer on the bad guys team.
So you got the dark suit. It's definitely an evil vibe.
Yeah, we're the bad team of lawyers. And yeah, that's pretty cool. We filmed this in some weird building, and I think it was in downtown Los Angeles, and we had to climb upstairs, up and down, like I don't know, like 50 times that day.
What's been your favorite role so far, Philip?
It's pretty difficult. One I appreciate the most that really featured me was doing Ray Donovan. I think, but the most fun was working on Superstore.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I'm on actually, like I've mentioned it to PJ before, but I'm on every episode of that. If you watch the intro of that, the guy picking up the ball in the intro or the titles, like that's me.
I can put that up.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So what makes a role like really good to you or makes you feel good? Is it something that moves your career forward, or is it something more personal? Is it when you get to stretch your wings a little bit and maybe play something that develops your skill? How do you, how do you feel about these roles? How do you feel about how your career is developing?
Well, most of the time it's background roles where you're just walking back and forth way in the distance and doesn't mean anything. But those few times, like the ones he showed, especially that one on LA's Finest where I'm the DEA agent, that's one of the better experiences where you got to be seen for like minutes at a time and interact with the cast. And I feel that where I feel the most comfortable playing a character in, like the bad guy, that I think I'm more well suited for that as opposed to something else like a nerdy type. Even though I am like more of a nerd in real life, but I know I come across as more like the tough guy on picture. So
Mhm.
I like playing outside of like who I actually am, like the bad guy.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say like Ray Donovan and those like mean bad guy roles, like I really enjoy those where I can also talk to the cast members, and I think that really helped me find my footing and working on independent films, like finding what type of roles I'm gonna play on those by working on these background roles.
Yeah, Jeff B in the comments, he's saying, that you could easily play a Secret Service agent. I totally agree. I think you make a great cop. Like you make a great guy in uniform. DEA, RCMP, police, firemen. I think you've got that down.
Thank you.
You look like you're going to rescue everyone. Maybe you're going to transition into being like a big superhero or something.
That'd be nice. Maybe be in a Marvel film. Actually, I have done background on a Marvel film. I did, actually 2 Marvel projects. I worked on Captain Marvel and the Runaways. Yeah. And
what were those experiences like?
well, the first one I worked on was Captain Marvel. Oh, he's showing the clip of me on the intro here. Like you'll see, there I am. So I passed by
That's
like a
awesome.
couple times, and like there's an interesting story with that as well. They sent us to go back and forth, and just for that sequence, and then he said the AD, one of the ADs, he said, "All right, go pick up a ball," and I said, "Okay," and I went to go pick up the ball. And then once I go back to him, he said, "No, you weren't supposed to pick up the ball from below. I wanted you to pick up a ball from up top. You could have sent all the balls flying like into the aisle." And he was upset with me. So I got scolded for doing that. And
Really?
They used it.
I got scolded. Yeah, and then my surprise, they used that for the show.
So he got mad at you, but I don't know. To me, it looks like the
That's
most
funny.
logical thing to do. I would not have reached to the top either. Why? When they're right there.
Right. I guess they figure since I'm so tall, I would have gone to
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did that because it worked out.
That's funny. Did we lose Katie? We lost Katie? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really funny and really cool. I think that's a great story. But yeah, I totally would have reached up from the top as well.
So, I don't have any pictures to share, but I know we have one from Raquel. Shall we show yours, Raquel?
Well,
'cause Philip hasn't seen it.
before we go to that, I would love to ask Philip a question. Today we were sort of all expecting to have Teresa for a much longer time, and I think everybody, including the audience at home, got stoked about being able to talk about acting. And so, I think it's great that we were actually able to feature 2 actors today who have experience. And a lot of people look up to you, Philip. It's a long way to the top, and it involves a lot of work. So, what advice would you give the viewers who tuned in today, who wanted to talk about acting and being able to start a career and how to maintain a career? What's your best advice to for our viewers as far as getting started in the industry, and any advice you might have?
I'm gonna take some notes.
Yeah, Katie is totally transitioning. She's going to be a meteorologist director one day.
There we go.
To direct the next Twister movie or something.
Yes, exactly.
You have no idea how many fan fictions are on my shelf right now.
Like that's a great movie. The cow flying in the air and Helen Hunt.
Oh yeah. We watch that anytime we watch it on a storm chase. The next day we have a tornado, and we treat it like it's a sacred relic. That DVD, it's padded, packed safely away.
So, do you have any advice, Philip, like for McCall's question?
Yes.
Sure. It depends on where you're starting. If you have no experience whatsoever, I do recommend at least beginning on sets doing background acting work, being an extra. And that's a good way to get a feel of how a set operates and how screen directions are, whether you know what like the crew's telling you what to do. Do you guys hear me? I don't hear anybody else.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay. And so like yeah, you learn all the terminology, like go to your ones, your twos, reset, ad lib, um walla walla, which is like talking, and you learn all this terminology. So it's a good idea to start as a background, or if not, take acting classes and learn the terminology before you go in. You don't have to start as background, but if you have no experience whatsoever, I do recommend that.
Where do you go? Where would you send our viewers to go and look for these jobs? Where, like, you know, I used to be in radio, and when you're looking for a job in radio, you go to Milkman, and that's where all of the radio stations are speaking very frankly about radio gigs. So where do actors go? Where are you finding these jobs, Philip? I mean, aside of somebody having an agent, how do people actually get started?
Right. When I started, I didn't really know where to begin as well. So one of the largest casting agencies in LA, at least, and also New York, and they also operate in other regional areas, is Central Casting.
Yep.
And they are the biggest ones, I would say. Register for them, and you'll get the most work for them. If you were in a small area, I don't know about like Canada, like where their casting companies are or anything about them, but I would say, yeah, start with Central Casting, get your foot in the door, go register with them, and then you can get a feel for it, and you'll talk to people on sets, and they'll tell you about these other casting companies. And I learned about several other casting companies. I'm registered with like 10 different ones.
Ooh.
So do you have a demo? Do our listeners, our viewers, do they require a demo if they're going to work in the background?
No, not for background, but you will definitely need a demo reel if you want to do auditions, or you want to be taken seriously with an agent. You got to show like, hey, this is what I can do. And a good idea, if you do have a demo reel, is don't put your background stuff on the demo reel. You got to have a speaking part on there, demonstrate your acting ability. So yeah, I have a demo reel on my website and on IMDb.
Nice. I know from what I did with the Chicago shows, I just looked it up on Facebook. I just typed in like I looked up shows that were filming in Chicago, and then I just put like extras behind it, and they actually have pages where they put out daily casting calls, and you just star it so you see it first thing or get notifications when they do it, and that's how I got all my stuff that I got to do.
Cool.
And
That's
Alicia Victoria Parker is asking a really terrific question of Philip, and so I'll pose it to you, Philip. Do some people come to acting naturally, or is it really important? I mean, you were talking earlier about how when you work in background, you learn on-set etiquette. How do you feel about Alicia? Sorry if I'm saying this wrong. AVP?
That's right, Raquel.
So etiquette is like, let me see.
Would you say that some people can do acting naturally and some do struggle in doing it? I know firsthand. Well, etiquette is what Raquel said.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, no, basically, like my question is this, like when you work in the background, you were saying that it's a great way to groom yourself so you know what behavior is expected from you, when you can eat, when you can't, who you can talk to and who you can't. So I think AVP is sort of getting to the heart of the question, which is like, can anybody do this, or do you really need training? Can people come to acting naturally? And even if they are a natural actor, do they still need that training so they don't do something wrong on set?
For doing background acting, I think the majority of people can do that. That's doesn't take a lot of skill. Yeah, it definitely requires some discipline, but you don't have to memorize lines. And as long as you can follow directions, almost anybody could do it. As for like actually acting and having a speaking part, a role, it varies between person to person. Not everybody is natural to it as other people are. I wouldn't say I'm 100% a natural when it comes to acting. I have to put a lot of effort and a lot of time into memorizing my lines and a little bit of time to get into my character. So I wouldn't say I'm that natural type, but as long as that person's dedicated and they're willing to put the effort in, I wouldn't tell anybody they're not suited for acting. As long as they have the drive for it, I would say do it.
So whether you're a natural or not, Alicia, follow your dreams. If that really does interest you, if the question is based in you wanting to pursue something, everybody here at Orville Nation is going to say, go for it. We support you. Rock it.
I definitely
Absolutely.
really want to get on a plane right now. You have no idea. And we got 50-mile-an-hour crosswinds. I will still get on a plane and try this.
Now, Raquel, do you want to get into acting too?
No, I have a 28-year-old daughter. I'm a lot older than I look. I'm not interested in acting. My daughter is an actress.
There's no way you have a 28-year-old daughter.
I do have a 28-year-old daughter, and I didn't have her when I was a teenager either.
You can also start at any age. Like I work with retired people alongside me all the time in Hollywood. Like like Patrick Stewart, he's still acting. He's in his late 70s.
Yeah, I'm somebody who likes to work behind the scenes, and I'm somebody who just loves writing. That's what I do for a living. So, I'm in communications and technology. And so I like working behind the scenes. I don't really like the spotlight. I like helping people to get to the spotlight and to do well in the spotlight. And so that supporting role as an editor is what I choose to do. But thanks, Philip, and for our viewers, keep that in mind. You're never too old or too young to start acting.
Right.
Now, let me take this opportunity to ask you about your radio experience, because do you want to share anything about that, Raquel?
Yeah, my radio experience was I worked for 630 Ched here in Edmonton. I worked through a practicum when I went to broadcasting school. It's the #1 radio station in our province, 4 million listeners. And it's a beautiful place with an incredible staff, just wonderful people. Eileen Bell, Bob Layton, I worked with them. I adore them. And Al Stafford. And then I worked for the station for about 3 years after that as their host for public events. So wow. I was one of many people doing these public events.
Very cool.
Other than that, it's just basically about writing,
Wow. So we have a question here from Trek Reviewer. Orville, do you know, this is to the panel, I guess, in general, do you know who is the only meteorologist to show up as a cast member in any of the TV series? Anybody? Katie?
I don't know. I know Ginger Z is getting active in acting, potentially, from what I've seen. But yeah, no, I joke with my staff that I would love to just go out and pretend to be a meteorologist while actually being a meteorologist on a TV show, but I don't know. I do
Wow.
wonder though, if they do employ meteorologists with TV station or um, filming productions, and because that equipment will melt from what I've seen. So I imagine if you're filming in inclement climates or like Costa Rica, you would need to have a meteorologist to help, especially for microclimates. Because what a lot of people don't understand is with different locations, you could have, like I have out here in Sioux City, we have a big hill and it's the dunes. And you get wind up that and you'll end up getting clouds on the other side, depending on how much moisture and stuff like that. And it could totally mess with the shot and lighting. So if that's a job, let me know. Because that would be awesome.
Maybe Trek Reviewer. I'm looking for the answer. I don't think I'm finding the right one. Maybe Trek Reviewer wants to share the answer with us because that's
Yeah.
interesting. Maybe AVP knows. AVP knows everything. Wow. So yeah, for anybody of you who are tuning in, Teresa could not spend too much time with us tonight, so that's why we are just chatting with Philip and who you all know and love. And so Philip, what's on the horizon for you?
Uh, I don't have any. Well, I have one independent show coming up that I'm working on. I'm trying to think of the name right now. But yeah, not much going on right now. Especially in the background acting world, it's like you don't know what you're gonna be working on the next day most of the time. So yeah, I don't know what's coming up actually. Um,
Except for the fact that you
This
may
is like
be
part
on the
of the fun,
Orville.
That he can talk about, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, Philip.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I can't talk about that. But
You know what? I think it's enough for me. I don't know. I'm just speaking for myself. I think it's enough for me that you said that you can't talk about it. I think it's incredibly cool. I think it's really wonderful. I mean, I do have to say, you have a very diverse career. You've done a lot of really cool stuff, and you've done different types of roles on different types of shows. And the fact that you're going to be on the Orville again is really, really awesome. Congratulations. And I know everyone in Orville Nation feels the same way because, here we have you on the show and then you're going to be on the show.
Or not.
Or not. No pressure. No pressure. You know what I mean?
Also, sometimes if you like when you do background, sometimes they might cut a scene or use a different shot or a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I won't even tell somebody I'm working on a show, even if I'm allowed to talk about it, until it actually airs, so I know that I'm actually on it. So if somebody watches it and say, "Hey, I didn't see you on it."
That's a good point.
I wasn't on it.
I just watched
Watch on the
Once
cutting
Upon
room
a
floor.
Time. I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And you know how Quentin Tarantino always has the same people in his movies? Well, not all the same, but how he has special people who he puts in all of his movies. He cut Tim Roth. And so what was really crazy is I would stay and watch all the credits. He actually thanked him at the end credits and said that he had been cut.
Aw.
I guess because, of this long-standing tradition of having his friends in his movies. So when I saw that in the credits, I was like, how sweet is that?
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So big people get cut too.
Yes. The latest Super Bowl commercial I worked on, which I was not in, but I worked on. They even cut like a famous wrestler. What's the Snickers commercial on during the Super Bowl? And if you saw that, when they drop this huge Snickers into the hole, I was there.
Yeah.
You won't see me in the
Cool.
commercial though. And one of the actors was a famous wrestler. I think Ric Flair's daughter. I forgot her name right now. But anyways, like she was like a big time celebrity, and they cut her basically like if you pause it, you can see her for like a second or two. Charlotte Flair, and yeah. So even if you're an actor on it, you could get cut, like not just background actors, and like Will Wheaton, Wesley Crusher on Star Trek Nemesis. he was only on the deleted scenes. He wasn't on the actual film.
At least we got the deleted scene.
Wasn't he on his image on for 1 sec? He didn't have a speaking role. Wasn't he on for 1 second?
Maybe.
Like a blip. Well, I hate to say it, but if I'm going to get up and be functional at work, I should probably scoot out.
Go ahead, Katie.
But thank you guys for having me on. It was so nice to actually meet you, Philip, and see you all again.
Thanks for talking.
Been fun.
Yeah, I liked your meteorologist report. That was really awesome.
Oh, thank you.
The Star Trek
I'm
one.
hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do a few more. I'm working on one, maybe finding a few pieces at C2E2. So again, if anyone's going to C2E2, let me know. Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Katie.
So nice to
I'll
see
watch
you,
the rest of this later on.
Get some
Bye, guys.
sleep. Rock
Good
it.
night.
Thank you.
Hi, Elihu. How are you? It's good to see you, my friend. Fashionably late.
He always says hi, everyone. Like, is that like a weed joke? I'm not sure.
We have Mr. Miles, chief engineer, saying, yeah, Wesley was there at the table during the wedding, even in the original.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's just extended on the deleted scene, maybe. Then.
Yeah.
Does he talk in the deleted scene, Phil?
No, I don't think he does. You could just see him more clearly, I believe.
Well, it's kind of like, Wesley is supposed to be Gene Roddenberry. So in Nemesis, it was sans Gene Roddenberry. And we're just going to leave it at that.
Maybe he took everybody's advice when they said, shut up, Wesley, and he shut up.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this is what, listen, I love the way Stephen Klein always comes into the room. He always says, Jaloja, all you Jiliac trash. That's from Marvel Season 2.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're more partial to TOS then, right, Raquel?
Yep. I watch every year. I watch about 670 plus hours of Star Trek. So I watch it in chronological order every year, beginning on January 1st. And so I raised my daughter on it as well. So it's on at Christmas, and we go to the Star Trek Symphony, and I cosplay Star Trek. And yes, I watch it. It's literally on TV here 24 hours a day.
Wow.
And when we finish up, we just roll it again. So it's TV shows in chronological order. And then all of the films up until Nemesis.
Wow, fabulous.
Yeah.
Nice. I've always wanted to watch it in chronological order. I've never come around to do it. Like, I have almost all of it on DVD box sets and Blu-rays, except for Enterprise or what's that new one called with the Burnham?
Discovery?
Yeah, I don't own that or Enterprise, but I own everything else. And
I think it was way harder to do when everything was on VHS. And you have to load it all up. And now that we have it on streaming, I find it so much easier to do. Before, when I was doing it analog, you have no idea how hilarious it was, right? Because, press pause, I gotta go get the popcorn. And so, especially at Christmas time when we marathon all of the movies, right? So easier with the streaming, right? Streaming, I think it's very important to hold on to physical media. But at the same time, I think there are many advantages to the digital media and keeping things there as well.
Well, that sounds awesome. By the way, I'm loving both of your bookshelves in the background.
Oh, thank you.
You were going to say something, Philip.
So for convenience, streaming is awesome, but just in case it gets pulled, a lot of times Netflix or whatever service you have, they pull your favorite series off of it. So it's a good idea to just have a backup, have a physical thing available to you whenever it gets pulled.
That's so true. And it's great advice because, that's what happened with Stargate. Stargate was widely available in Canada, and then now it's not. So, and now you're either you have a physical copy and you can watch it or not. So I think that it's very important to have the physical copy. But at the same time, if you're going to marathon, or if you're going to watch 670 hours plus Star Trek year long, year after year after year, decade after decade after decade, perhaps it is made easier by streaming. And don't take your stuff out and use it. Just use the stream and don't wear your physical media out.
That's a good point.
I
Yeah, you
agree,
said
but I also like the special features on a lot of them, like the DVDs, and I also watch those as I go.
Yeah, especially the TOS, aren't the beautiful shots of the models and the planets. They're incredible now that they've been remastered. I have to totally agree with you. When you pop in that Blu-ray, it's a completely different experience.
But I think it kind of kills the nostalgia, like, because I don't like the remastered Enterprise on the original series just doesn't feel the same. Like, this doesn't feel like how I used to watch it. But I think on the DVDs and Blu-rays, they have both options for you available on that, right?
Well, sometimes I'm happy that I can watch it the original gangster version, but unfortunately, like many people, my staff, I used to own a nightclub, and whenever I would get upset with my staff, they would always say to me, "Raquel's just angry because she had to watch Gilligan's Island in black and white." And so the thing is that I originally watched TOS and The Twilight Zone on a black and white TV, and I had no choice. So for me, the original gangster version isn't that fun to watch. It's on an old tube TV, and the tube TV is about this thing. But yeah, point taken, and I get what you mean, right?
Right. Like, in my room, like, we had one color TV, like, growing up. Like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Like, we had a color TV in the living room, but like in my own room, I had like a tiny black and white TV that I had to like use for everything. So I have the same experience sometimes.
Yeah. It feels good, right? Like when you walk into an old pawn shop or you walk into an old secondhand store and you see the gigantic Godzilla TV that is, the size of a Yugo, and you know that you grew up and that was the only way to watch television. Adjusting the rabbit ears to make sure that there isn't too much snow on the screen.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I was at somebody's house the other day, and they had such a huge TV, and it was not like, it wasn't that far away. So I actually got like motion sickness from how big from the movement of what we were watching.
I have to say that I had the exact same experience. I have a friend who it's not so big, but it's like the mega hyper real television. And I was over at his house and we were watching a movie, and it was making me sick, especially when he turned on that Planet show, Planet Earth. And you start seeing animals running by, and there are cliffs and all this other stuff. Yeah, it made me completely sick. Pass out the Gravol. Where's the Dramamine? Well, yeah, sure, I'll come over and watch TV. How much Dramamine do you have?
You probably don't like the 3D movies also then?
It is crazy that you should say that. Yeah, I don't. I prefer, like, when I go to IMAX, I'm like, please don't be in the 3D, please. Yeah, I just get motion sickness from it. It's not a preference. It's not like, you should not do that. It's more like, ooh, I might birth.
Yeah, but I think all the 3D stuff, at least at home, is going away. I think that's unfortunate, but it's still around in the movie theaters. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I just want to answer Alicia's question. Yeah, Alicia, I'm wearing one of the prototypes, and so you guys will be able to get them. And on the back it says, I don't know if you can see it. You guys have seen it before. It says it's Kalon. I fought and survived in the Kalon battle, so it's pretty cool. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it available soon.
Nice. Maybe I should get one that says, I almost got John lobotomized, or Lamar lobotomized.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now,
I
you
think
guys,
that would be a great. I think that would be a great T-shirt for you, especially when you go to a con. It would be a great conversation starter. What? Really?
Yeah.
now have you caught up on both seasons of the Orville, Raquel?
Yes, I have. I watched them as they came out. I was pretty excited about the Orville.
Oh.
So yeah, my husband and I load it up, and whenever an episode is available, and we watch it, and we devote all of our time to it. The phones go down, the laptops go down, the iPads go down, and we watch it, and we just absolutely love it. We look forward to it whenever an episode is released. I remember when Seth MacFarlane was this dorky kid who begged and begged and begged to be on Star Trek. And once he got an extra part, he was, over the moon. And so, I do admit I'm not a Seth MacFarlane fan. I kind of find his humor lowbrow. His taste in music is impeccable. And what he's doing with the Orville is absolutely outstanding. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan before, so now I am.
Yes. How do you feel about that rumor where he might be trying to buy Star Trek along with NBC? Have you heard that?
I have, actually. And are you asking me or PJ?
Both. How do you both feel about
Ladies
that?
first.
I kind of hope it's true. I think that there are better people to take the franchise over and restore it to its former glory. However, I do think that, especially with the paper that Robert Mayer Burnett put out, talking about the demographics and the psychographics of the new audience, I think that maybe Seth MacFarlane might be able to bridge that gap. And so, I think it would be great, because I think that he's very respectful of Star Trek. He understands its ethos, its mood, it's the way it takes shape, how it looks. And I think there are some things that he's done to the Orville that show ways that Star Trek can be tweaked so that everyone can be happy. Do I think this will actually happen? I don't know. Maybe the new Star Trek franchise isn't doing that great. It's not worth a lot of money, and it's possible. I mean, I'm hearing from several sources, and some of them are reliable and some of them are highly reliable, that there isn't even going to be any real Star Trek in the new Star Trek. So everything that was licensed before is getting pulled. So if that happens and Star Trek is no longer Star Trek, well, it's pretty easy to buy something that's essentially, for lack of a better word, tanked. And is Seth the guy to do that?
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. If he can do it. I mean, how much money do they want? There seems to be a lot of hands in the cookie jar at this point, right? Seems like everybody has a little chunk of Star Trek and nobody wants to share, because the next person who's able to hit it out of the park like Babe Ruth, they want to cash in. So we'll see.
All right, so
That's
PJ, do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I think it seems a little too optimistic for me right now, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. And I kind of, yeah, I mean, everything that Raquel said, those are good points. And listen, reality sometimes is weirder than fiction. So who knows? And one thing we've been talking a lot about, and some like on our hypothetical streams that we do, if somehow Seth did get the Star Trek in some future time, wouldn't it be amazing if the Orville and Star Trek were just parallel universes of each other?
That'd be amazing, like a crossover episode where
Yeah.
they just merge or something. At least.
And this gets to the heart of this idea that when you look at the demographics and the psychographics from old Star Trek and new Star Trek, and then you see this monster emerging in the Orville, because it's going to be a monster hit. Things like that, ideas like PJ's are exactly, I think, the kind of ideas that appeal to viewers. Katie is younger than my daughter. And Katie is very open in saying that one of the reasons why she finds the Oroville so wonderful is its social accessibility for her. She's not on a ship with a bunch of elite, wonderful, amazing, totally cool people that have jumped through, hoops physically and intellectually in order to get on a ship. She says she looks at Yaphet and she says, I could be on that ship. So, I completely agree with PJ. I think that it's not quite as far-fetched as critics on Twitter say. And I do think that there are crafty, really cool ideas about bridging the gap and bringing the whole franchise together again and making everyone happy. It is possible. Never say never. I agree with PJ. Remote, but don't say never.
And you know what's interesting, Raquel, is that there's only a 20-year difference between where canon is right now, like between Picard in 2399 and Seth and the rest of the crew in 2420. There's only a 20-year difference, so there could, time-wise, they could almost coincide.
And let's be honest with each other too. When Michael Jackson bought up Paul McCartney's, stock or shares or rights to the Beatles, when that happened, I was alive. And wow, it shocked everyone. It came out of nowhere. It was like being hit by a train. All right. Who
Great
knew?
point.
But I mean, this isn't even going to be like being hit by a freight train. It's not like being hit by an 18-wheeler. We're talking about someone who loves jazz music and is such a huge Trekkie that he begged and groveled and was poo-pooed to not be on Star Trek, finally gets a spot as an extra. And, Seth MacFarlane is a very successful person in his own right. So I think he's shown that he's pretty dogged behind the scenes. He'll even take a low menial role just so he can be a part of the franchise. So, is this weirder than MJ acquiring the Beatles, the rights to the Beatles? I don't think so, guys. I think people on Twitter get into a tiny little box and they only listen to a whole bunch of people who think and talk the same way they do. And then they decide, no. Well, I don't know. I'm a pragmatist. I say sit back, wait, use your rational mind, be logical, and don't say never.
Now, more specifically, what about these rumors that him walking out of a sales meeting, though? What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that's... I mean, I think that's probably far-fetched right now. I think it's probably not true. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, Hollywood stuff like that happens all the time. They go back and forth. That's the game they're playing, I believe. I think, it's the first meeting. They gave an offer. They gave a counter offer. They couldn't come to terms on that original offer, and they ended the meeting quickly. I don't think it'll be the end of the discussions. So I don't think it's just all right, we lost it. No, I don't think that's the deal. I just think we'll wait and see, and hopefully Seth eventually gets it. And maybe just CBS is asking too much, Paramount. And I think just with time they'll say, all right, well, they'll come to a mutual understanding of what the value of it is worth.
So you think it's possible that those meetings may have taken place, you're saying?
I think so. Even if it hasn't, I think the fact that everyone's talking about it, that maybe this rumor can actually get the actual meeting to take place, possibly. So we could, just creating this fake news could actually create the real news, I think. So I think, like, either way, it's, I think, a good thing.
Listen, there's another big rumor going around that probably Kurtzman might not be in charge of Star Trek at some point. If that happens, who do you guys think might take over? What do you think, Raquel? Who might take over Star Trek?
Ira.
Ira? That's your best bet, you think?
Well, it's my hope.
I think definitely he'll do a better job. I don't like the fact that have you seen that Deep Space Nine documentary? I don't like the fact that he puts so much politics into his stuff lately. but I still think it'll be massively better in writing compared to Alex Kurtzman's efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's my favorite choice, but like I said, I'm a pragmatist, and I look at things rationally, and I sort of think, who could they drag back into this to do this? And I mean, Majel Roddenberry Barrett previously, Majel Barrett or Bennett. She previously said that if Gene would have been alive, DS9 would have never have been made. It was too dark, and Gene would have said no. So, I don't know. Like, I think the get off my lawn needs to end, but I also think that the extreme changes need to end. So I think it's about being rational and slowing everybody down, slow down the hate on both sides, and start looking at being able to rescue this franchise. I think that Star Trek does need to evolve a little bit, but I don't think that it should be evolving quite as much as it is. So we're going to need someone to come in and restore the franchise to the way that the majority of fans like it, and also move it ahead so that it appeals to the millennial and Gen Y and the Gen Z. Or you guys say Z. I just totally showed that I'm Canadian. We say Z. It's Zed.
I have a lot of Canadian friends. Yeah.
So PJ knew what I was going to say. Yeah, okay. Anyway, but yeah. So does that answer the question? I think it's just sort of murky.
What about you, Philip?
Well, technically, I'm a millennial, even though I don't feel like I am. I think I associate more with the Generation X. But yeah, we were still on topic with Ira, and like if Star Trek evolving, definitely. Like I don't like Star Trek has always had political statements in it. I don't mind that. Even with like the Orville, definitely has that. They do it in a way that's not in your face about it, like Majority Rules, where they talk about the social system that they have in place. They have that social commentary in it, which I don't have a problem with. Same with all of Star Trek, but I feel like Discovery and going forward, it's like too like in your face about it.
Well, I think there's a great deal of talk about that on Twitter, and a lot of people being incredibly cruel to one another over absolutely nothing. Showing old episodes that were heightened exemplars or examples of politics and so on and so forth. But Gene made it very clear in his interview that happened over several days with a humanist magazine. He made it very clear that he said that politics, to constantly talk about politics and to make it socially violent, is not entertainment, and it also shows a lack of creativity. He also said that if you talk about and harp on and preach with politics, and you wind up driving any viewers away, you're not doing your job. Those are his exact words. Those are his words verbatim, that last part of what I just said. Not doing your job. So I think that this divided, incredibly violent fandom, people are being very abusive towards one another. And as somebody who is a social science, doctor of social science prospect, I got to say, I don't think it's worth it. And I do think that Gene's words were prophetic. I mean, it's not worth it, guys. Don't, to be so cruel to one another and stuff. It's just not worth it. I think many people are sick and tired of 360-degree politics. And I think that it's important that even if we talk about politics on our television shows, that they shouldn't be openly partisan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Leave it up to the imagination. Let people work it through. Start a conversation. I think that TV should be not about preaching, but about questioning, about drawing people together and saying, let's work through this together. This is a thought experiment. This is a conversational experiment. Let's prompt questions, not give demeaning, authoritarian, didactical instructions for what people should do. And I think that what people don't realize online is that a lot of times people aren't pro-Trump and they're not pro-Bernie Sanders. They're actually, especially as a Canadian watching all of this, they're actually smack dab in the middle, and they just don't like what they're seeing. They just don't want so much politics in their entertainment and so partisan. And I think they're very tired of people being so cruel to one another.
Right. I wouldn't even watch the news anymore. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And I used to watch the news all the time, every night. And now none.
Yeah, because that's all that we're watching now. And people are like, well, using your voice is important to change the world. Yes, it is. Questioning is important, but we also need to realize that we live in a digital age. And this means that we're inundated by this stuff, and we're not able to escape it. It's not the same as it was in 1987, where friends got together and said, oh, did you see what happened on the show? No. Now it's like you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're getting notifications to your phone, you're watching the news online. I mean, it feels like people can't escape the partisanship. And I just think that people want way less of it in their lives, starting with our arts and entertainment. Let's make it questioning. Let's make it about politics instead of partisanship. Let's start there. Let's be fair. Let's listen to each other.
I love everything you're saying, Raquel. I totally agree. Absolutely.
Well, the thing is that to tell you the truth, what I'm bringing to the show are just the comments of the people who follow me on Twitter. Because I'm an academic and I have a master's in comm tech, and I sort of do all this, and I want to get a PhD and finish, and I need money. But I tend to attract centrists on my Twitter. And so I have a whole bunch of people from the left and a whole bunch of people from the right, and a lot of them meet in the middle. And this is how they feel. Even the people who I know who are huge supporters of Trump still feel this same way. They're saying the exact same thing as the people on the left. They're just saying, you know what, like this is not a weapon, and to turn your entertainment into a weapon is something that you can do if you own it, and it belongs to you and you wrote it. But we know that Gene did not want this done with this. He did it no matter what he did politically. No matter what he said, no matter how progressive he was in wanting to change the world, putting one of the first Sikh people on television, having people of color of every shade in positions of power. He wanted all of this, yes, but that's not what it is now. Now it's a weapon to bully and castigate and harm others. And nobody on any side can claim, this sanctimonious high ground. There is no high ground here. Everybody is in the ditch, hurling poop at one another. They're finger painting in their feces, and everybody wants a pat on the back for it. And it's just a shame, because this was a united fandom before. It's not necessary either. It's just mean. You're just attacking and being mean to a bunch of random strangers on social media.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the reason they think they can get away with a lot of it with Discovery is they think, all right, we already have the Star Trek fans that are going to watch it, and let's bring in these other people that are not fans, and like we'll just increase our audience by introducing these other ideals into our show. And I think you're causing a divide instead of increasing the viewership by doing that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think to say that Star Trek was only politics is hogwash. It's complete hogwash. I mean, in my master's thesis, I talk about the fact that the gentleman who invented the cell phone, Cooper, I think his last name was, he said that he would never have invented the cell phone if it weren't for Star Trek. I mean, Gene Roddenberry, he got attacked by Isaac Asimov and was, scolded for not being scientifically sound. So even if you're just dreaming of the future, it should be scientifically sound. And so, we've got Isaac Asimov, we've got Stephen Hawking, we have people at NASA giving Gene advice about how to make this show happen. And it's inspiring other scientists and people to create things. We would not have laptops and iPads and cell phones if it were not for Gene Roddenberry. And we have the inventors of those things on record saying that. So, I mean, Star Trek is not just a gigantic partisan baseball bat that you can pull out of the cupboard to smash people over the head with whenever you like. It's a dynamic show. It's about many, many things. And it was a cerebral, intellectual, and scientific show before. It wasn't just about social agendas and partisan politics. I mean, coming right out and saying, look, this show is about abusing Trump. It does not matter how you feel about Trump. That's not how you go about making a show, unless you really want people to haul out their personal baseball bat from the closet and go on the internet and bludgeon one another with it. I mean, there is some responsibility here that these people need to take.
True. Yeah.
Do you feel the scientists at NASA are being inspired right now like they were in the 70s?
Oh, heck no. Are you kidding? No.
That's something that people in their 20s don't understand because it was, I mean, they named the first shuttle Enterprise after the show.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. It's like, and no, I don't. Yeah, I agree. They're not being there's no scientists being inspired by this.
No. And there's other things that Star Trek has done as well. Like look at the opinion of most people on whaling. I mean, a lot of people think that movie was a bomb. But bottom line is it got that message out and it really changed things. It made people say, oh, you know what? Maybe we should save the whales. And then, it got people talking, and it didn't need to bludgeon them with a bloody spiked bat to do it. It's really about couching in what you're doing in questioning. You should inspire critical thinking. You should not be a master of puppets telling people who to bludgeon on a daily basis.
You're absolutely right about Star Trek 4. That did a lot more than people realized to increase awareness. Absolutely right. Okay.
I think the entire franchise is like that, but I think it's really hard to, I don't want to get too philosophical here, but, there is a philosophical architecture behind all of this, where we have a generation that comes out and then that generation tends to privilege all of their own media and everything they think and everything they believe as though it never happened before them. And so I think it's really hard for somebody who is Gen Z or Gen Z for you Americans to sort of imagine how crazy, earth-shatteringly, mind-blowingly incredible that somebody could talk into a box and reach somebody else, that we could do all of these things. That for me, I have a lot of Sikh friends. A lot of people talk about Nichelle Nichols kissing Kirk for the first time and that being on TV and stuff. But even for me, the representation was just incredible. I mean, to see Sikh people, my Sikh friends are on TV. This is incredible. There are episodes dealing with somebody not really feeling like they have a gender. This is incredible.
I agree. Are you talking about the Next Generation episode where Riker falls in love with that girl?
Yeah.
Oh, that person.
Yeah, and we can look to many episodes and see people who have no gender. And for me, you know, it really changed who I was as a person when I was younger. Granted, I was a little bit older, but it really did change who I was as a person. I mean, growing up in the 70s is a lot different than it is growing up now. So we were on the very edge.
Oh, yeah.
We were the ones pushing the boundaries in the 1980s. We were the ones saying, you know, no, you know, and that show, the entire franchise did that. Gave people power, good people. But it did more than that. Instead of just creating this empty representation, it created that questioning that I'm talking about. The first time I saw someone with no gender on Star Trek was the first time that I decided that I was no longer going to listen to what any of my friends or people who I knew or anything I saw in the media about people who are bi. And I wound up having a best friend who once said to me, and I won't name her here, I love her very much, but she said to me, Raquel, it's hard to explain what it's like to be bi. It's you need to understand that I fall in love with the person, not the container. And so that changed my life. I'm not walking around feeling angry with anyone, and I'm not, you know, whoa, explain that to me. You know, so this is what I'm talking about. These are these psychological consequences of creating opportunities for questioning, not arguing, fighting, bludgeoning one another and preaching, but questioning.
I agree. And not just philosophical or religious, or everybody gets something else out of Star Trek. People start careers because of, like, they were admired Scotty, or people admired Dr. McCoy, or they become philosophers, or there's so many aspects to Star Trek that somebody takes away something from that's inspired by, like, the various aspects of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And the latest series, it doesn't have of that.
No.
So there we go. That's the episode we were talking about.
Well, we know scientifically that the more that you provide proof to somebody and the more facts you give people, the less inclined they are to listen to you. So all of this arguing is not getting anyone anywhere. Arguing and fighting and coming aggressively to the conversation is not creating the social evolution, the social change that we're crying out for. What it has done is it's entrenched people on political peripheries. And so it's very important to engage people in critical thinking, because once somebody starts to ruminate and masticate over their own ideas and what shapes their own ideas and their own identity, their own ideology, that's when you see this enlightened witness. You see this cultural transformation. You see personal transformations, because you see hate just evacuate the body like a possession. But if you tell people, you know, and I'm just saying this scientifically, the more you preach at people and you're obstinate and offensive, the more entrenched they will become, and they will just stop listening.
Yeah. I think that I think that the pendulum is going to swing the other way, and I think that at some point very soon, we will get Berman era type Star Trek again. I do think that what you said, Raquel, Ira is a logical choice for them to go to. Ronald D. Moore, I think, is also. He's not going to be working on the new Battlestar Galactica, so I think that his name is in the running too. And
BSG. Sorry.
So say we all.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like I guess I base my choice is not just on availability, but I also think it's really getting to a point of who won't storm out of the room now also. because we know that that's not rumor. We know that that's the truth, right? That how many people are they going to have throw their hands up in the air and say "F you guys" and just storm out of the room?
I believe the fact what they were talking about, like Doomcock rumors and that's been on the internet. I do believe the fact that Fuller wouldn't want to go back right now, for example.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I think, yeah, because he felt like they did him wrong with Discovery. And they did. Kicking him off the show. And that was the worst choice they could have made.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting too is that Shaban says on the Will Wheaton, on those Will Wheaton I know you haven't seen it. I don't think you've seen it, Raquel, but on those Will Wheaton things after Picard, those little segments, Shaban goes and says that the initial idea that got Patrick Stewart to sign on to Picard that Shaban wrote wasn't used. And you could tell that he wanted to make sure that got out there.
Well, that's the most upsetting thing. Like, this is what I'm saying, right? I'm Canadian. Okay, so I'm just going to be incredibly frank with you right now. I think it's completely inappropriate for Patrick Stewart to say, you know what, I'm not even an American citizen, but I'm going to go and I'm going to do this show Picard, and I want it to be about Trump and Brexit. So,
well, now he is. Now
I know, but
yeah,
you know what? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like this is the way it's moving, right? And I think they really got to tone it down, because I think that if Discovery actually looked like Star Trek, I think they would have been able to onboard anybody's ideas. Shaban, Fuller, Kurtzman. I think they would have gotten it all through. But when you change the look and feel, and you stop questioning and start demanding and telling, you create the perfect storm for people to go, nope. And then for other people to go, hey, this is my political party. Yeah.
Captain Robert talks here about, hey, Captain Robert, how are you? We got to get you on whenever you're ready. Well, you let me know when you're ready. About Seth buying Trek and stuff. I think there's a possibility we haven't considered, and I think that there's people at CBS who are trying to inflate the numbers of what the value of Star Trek is, and I think some of this may be made up just to say, look how hot we are that Seth wants to buy us. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a pretty good angle.
I mean, it could actually, well, it could have the opposite effect if that's the reasoning behind it. I think you could look at it as like Star Trek is doing so bad right now that Seth feels like he's at a good position to come in and swipe up the essentially like the stock that's at a low price right now.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. That was my impression as well. That's what I said earlier. It's just it looks so much like a wounded duck that it's time to swoop in, right?
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But PJ, as far as like inflating numbers and trying to make it look stronger or weaker than it is, there's definitely evidence of that kind of stuff going on. I saw screenshots saying that they had, 8 million Canadian viewers and on Crave TV, and they tried to make it look like that. I mean, I don't have access to the Bureau of Broadcast Measurement or any of those scales anymore. But I will tell you this, only a couple of years ago, the maximum people who were subscribed to Crave TV in Canada was 750,000 people. So it's not possible that 3 million or 8 million people watched Picard or Discovery on Crave TV. It's simply poppycock.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
you brought that up.
I listened to Doomcock's videos where he talks about them fudging the numbers, or they're counting the free subscription. So people had a cell phone service that included a free subscription to like CBS or something, and they included all those numbers that people are not even watching it.
Those numbers were included, yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm putting this up, guys, because I just want to make sure I get this in before before I forget. Next week we are having Simone Bailey. She is the young lady on the right who this is obviously Jolene Blaylock from Enterprise. This is they are both Jaffa warrior women in Stargate, and they both actresses did a fabulous job. And we're going to have Simone on next week, right, Raquel? You're going to be with us.
Yes, I'm pretty excited about it because it's a very interesting and very intellectual topic. Her whole storyline, femicide and just the whole idea. Once again, you want to talk about a show that got people questioning some of our toughest issues so that we could work it out as a society, so that we could work it out together. Well, you know what, everyone? That is Stargate. Stargate brought everything to the table and did not bludgeon anyone with a pickaxe or anything, or a spiked bat or whatever. Wow. Yeah. Her whole storyline is powerful. If you've not watched it, please do. It is such great episodes.
Fabulous. Yeah. And before women were allowed to be in the field in the in the U.S. military, Amanda Tapping's character was in a field unit on Stargate SG-1, and that was a big thing. People don't realize it.
Yeah, and long before there were all these documentaries coming out about the hundreds of millions of women and girls missing worldwide, when due to femicide, infanticide. If a girl is born, terrible things happen to her because in many countries they prefer boys and things like that. I mean, these were these incredible, powerful, terrifying issues that we face as humankind, and Stargate was willing to tackle that, and they did such a great job. And that's just one issue of many issues that Stargate got into, and it's a terrific show. If you've never watched it, especially these episodes, please do. This actress is fabulous, and this show is fabulous.
Yeah, I should watch more of it. I've seen maybe 10 episodes of SG-1 in my life, and I don't know. I should probably go back and watch more of it.
Philip, there's going to be new Stargate soon, I think. So you might want to, brush up in case you get a job in Stargate.
I'll do it if I get a gig working it. Yeah, but I really love the Stargate movie, though.
The Stargate movie is phenomenal. Yeah, I was hooked right away. Right.
Yeah, the whole blending sci-fi with the Egyptian mythology,
and the Greek mythology and Viking mythology. So yeah, it's really super cool and very, very cool show. You have to watch it.
Yeah, it was there was a lot of academic stuff put into the show in a very easy to assimilate way, right? I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but very palatable. Yeah.
Once again, the art of questioning, of making people sort of say to themselves, what do I think on this issue? Who are the players? What's at stake? What are the controlled and uncontrolled variables? What issues? What's happening here? Oh, how do I feel? And that's how people worked their ideas and their positions through, right?
Mm-hmm. Who's this a picture of?
So this is a picture of author Alan Dean Foster. We're going to be interviewing him next Friday, and Alan was the ghostwriter for George Lucas for Star Wars, for the novelization of Star Wars: A New Hope, the original. He is also the author of the story for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. And so we're going to have the privilege of talking to Alan next Friday evening, and he's just a lot. He also wrote the novelization of The Force Awakens, and so many other things. So
are you saying he created the motion picture story or the novelization of it?
No, he created the story for the he came up with the story for Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Oh wow! If I'm free, I'd love to check that out. Definitely.
That was a highly, highly, highly contested situation. I'm surprised that he didn't lose all of his hair.
Yeah, you want to talk about that, Raquel? You probably know more about that than I do.
Oh, just, it was, they just really wanted to get a film on the screen. And so it was rushed. There was a lot of arguing about what was this and what was that. And it's a hated film. A lot of people don't like it. When I go to see it at the old theater, people stand in line, they say it's the most boring film and all this other crap. It's actually, I think, the closest to what Gene really envisioned for Star Trek. And I think it's really important to apply history to this and realize what it's like when you're a kid and you go into the theater and you sit down and Star Trek the Motion Picture begins, and you basically see, not basically, you absolutely see your first space duck. You're like, wow, what's happening? Mind blown. So I think it's a beautiful film. I also really like the idea that that we didn't need a whole bunch of flash and bang. I really, really liked this idea that what comes back at us might not be human. So, a lot of people say, oh, Star Trek the Motion Picture, that's a boring movie. Oh, that's the stupidest one. No, please sit down and watch it and realize that the concepts as well as the execution, and then look at the time at which it was made and what was people were trying to achieve. I think it is a monument to intellectual, cerebral science fiction.
Yeah, it's the most sciencey of the Star Trek movies, I think.
Agreed.
It's incredible for 1978, and like you said, it's like I don't say they want, it's not really a reboot, but an in-house reboot, but they evolved it to where it should be for the 1970s and 80s, and it was a very Gene Roddenberry story. And it wasn't flashy. It wasn't. It really stuck to the core of Star Trek, the essence of Star Trek. You're right, and I think that a lot of times when you go back and watch a film like that, you appreciate it more and more as time goes by.
Yeah, it's really ingenious. You also have to realize, our viewers, our listeners, need to realize that when you start reaching out and you're the first to reach out, one thing that is the most terrifying is what reaches back. And Stephen Hawking, said, he came right out and said, you know what, we ought to be careful what we're doing here, because if something reaches back, we're not ready. Humanity is not ready. So I think I actually saw the motion picture here in Canada in 79. Not 78. I think I saw it in 79, but
that's awesome.
To put it into that context, you have to understand what it was like for us to say to ourselves, geez, we're sending a big old hunk of metal out where? And to know that it's going to come back, not some big, scary, goofy alien like we had seen in all of these, low budget sci-fi movies, because, people wanted to watch police movies back then. That's what they wanted to watch. They wanted to watch cop shows in the Love Boat. So, this was a dangerously cerebral and beautiful movie that made people question. This guy, I hope that the fans treat him with the utmost respect, because what he made is gorgeous.
Absolutely. It's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. And most importantly, he stayed true to this, to Gene and to the vision. And I don't just want to say Gene, because it wasn't just Gene who put Star Trek together. There was a lot of other people, we talk about DC Fontana and all the other writers who were involved, and they kind of did the same thing for Gene that he did for George. He helped George Lucas evolve George's story. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a fascinating interview. To be honest, I'm very excited about this, and it's an honor that he's going to come on our show.
And PJ, I think that it's more common than people think. Like, it's got the dirty name ghostwriter. I wouldn't apply that. I would.
Yeah.
I think the fans need to realize that it's sort of like what's happened with The Expanse. The Expanse is not one writer. You know, as somebody who's involved with writing and editing, you know what's really fabulous is when two people sit in a room and they write something wonderful together. They're just firing off one another. You know, think of Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Sure, Paul McCartney's great at writing, but once he was with John Lennon, you know, and look at the Toxic Twins, Aerosmith, right? So it's nice to be in a band. So, you know, he was in the band.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's masterminding. That's what they're doing. They're masterminding together.
Yeah.
And you know, when two or more people get together, magic happens in that sense.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it'll be an exciting show, and I hope you'll have on some amazing Star Wars people. You invited me to a YouTube channel where there were a couple of guys and they were talking, and you were there and you spoke for a little while, and I forget the name of the channel. I subscribed to it, but wow, those guys were just the sweetest human beings. They were just smart, funny, great guys.
Which one was it, Raquel?
I'll message you later. I don't actually remember which one it was.
Yeah, I jump on a lot of streams from people in our community. So I mean,
Mark with a C, I think his name is Mark with a C.
Oh, yeah, it was with John and with Mark with a C, and who was
and a guy with a name that starts with D.
Damajanai, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone from that show? Wow. I actually wrote on the comments. What a panel!
I saw you. That's right. I saw you on that. Yeah.
Like what a panel! Like just intelligent people talking about intelligent things. Just what a great panel. And talking about complex social issues that belonged in a university classroom. I was so impressed with those guys. I hope that they'll join the show or even be in the chat, because those guys know their Star Wars. And yeah, they're just respectful, articulate, wonderful people. Get their bums in front of the camera.
Well, I can actually, one of the people we're going to be having, we had to, you know, we had to kind of plan this out for a while. And so one of the people we're going to be having is the George Peter Gatsis is one of the creators on the panel. And we're also going to have Paul Jenkins from who we interviewed last night. And so we're going to see, and I don't want to say anybody else because they're not confirmed yet, but we had to plan this a while back, and we just got Alan to confirm recently. So it's fantastic, and it'll be very interesting. Yeah. And but next Wednesday, I'm very excited as well for Simone. That's going to be very interesting, and that's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I think it will be really, really great. And, you know, if you've never watched Stargate before, everyone, please watch Stargate, especially her episodes, because incredibly controversial, on the edge of just some of the most heart-wrenching, I hate to be trite, but there's no other word to say it, heart-wrenching politics and situations that women face around the world. And they tackled this. And what year was that one? Well, she was on several, but that one was like 2006 to 2009. They ran that storyline, right?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking like season 7, 8, or something like that. Is that right?
Not sure. Maybe 7, 8, and 9. Anyway, if I know the newer viewers, I know that millennials and I know that Gen Z are very hip to this highly politically questioning type of show. And so that is definitely one to watch for. Watch all of that storyline for the show next week. You will not regret it. You will be so impressed.
And it's filmed in Canada.
Yeah, well, lots of stuff is filmed here because it's cheap. Right? So
taking our jobs.
No, actually, we don't mind. You guys give us jobs. You guys have to eat. You guys have to sleep. You guys, when you roll into town, Philip, we don't mind.
Any last words, Philip, that you might want to say before you kind of wrap this up?
I would like to thank you again for having me on the show, for talking to both of you, and having me on.
Well, it's always a pleasure.
And,
this is your home, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And then, follow me on Twitter. My name, Philip O'Reilly. And then on
I'm gonna put
YouTube,
it in the chat.
Philip Gaming. I do mostly gaming reviews on there, though. So
Yeah, tell us real quick about your gaming reviews, Philip.
So a lot of my reviews are to do with retro gaming. So I have like a review on the Atari 5200 or Pitfall 2, Super Mario Brothers. I reviewed like obscure games like Thunder in Paradise starring Hulk Hogan and weird stuff like that. And Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for Genesis. I was a big Michael Jackson fan. And yeah, obscure games like that. And then I went to CES in Las Vegas this year, and I did a little short video with that. And check out all my videos. I do conventions. The 2017 Orville panel, I have that on one of my videos.
Oh, great.
And yep.
It was so nice to meet you, Philip. It's obvious that you're very talented and you've worked really hard at your craft. So thank you for sharing all of your ideas and your thoughts with us, and for sharing your career with us and your expertise. I know everyone really appreciated you tonight. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your opinions and your thoughts. Like, I really appreciated it.
Yeah, I hope I'll see you again.
Yeah, thank you, Raquel, as well for being such an amazing co-host and contributing so much. Is there anything you want to plug, or do you want to speak
I
about?
have nothing to plug right now, unless the people at home would like to help me pay for my PhD. You can make a donation. I'll finally finish. People will stop asking me when I'll be done.
And it's going to be in communications, you said, right?
Actually, I was thinking about finishing out in social science, because a great deal of what I do has to do with language and philosophy and society and structure and culture and popular culture and stuff like that. But recently I've been thinking that I might finish out in education. We'll see what happens. It's important to be a good instructor, but it's also important to do what you love. So we'll see. Thank you for asking, by the way, and thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show. I think your friends and your colleagues are marvelous people, and I love Orville Nation. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight to sit with us and ask us great questions. And you guys are all marvelous. Happy Valentine's Day!
Yeah, thank you to everybody who's joined. By the way, guys, really quick, I put in Teresa's Twitter account in there as well. And hopefully Teresa will be back with us to spend a little more time with us in the future. And she was a great guest. And Teresa, if you're listening at all, thank you for coming on. It was amazing. And good luck being a mom. That's very exciting. And, well, okay, guys. Well, thanks so much. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Take it easy, folks.